Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is once again bouncing from this important line of support, but is now running into this critical area of resistance. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, alongside Bitcoin now squeezing to the upside, liquidating a lot of short positions, while Ethereum is continuing to play out this bullish divergence right now in the short term. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the super trend indicator is still sitting in the red, so nothing has really changed over the last 1 day on this chart right here. And if we're taking a look at the 2-day Bitcoin chart, at least for now, we're technically still within this larger bearish trend because we're technically still seeing lower highs and lower lows, at least as of right now. But we are once again bouncing from this important line of support, as I mentioned, over the last few days. And of course, this line of support is still sitting at roughly around 52,500. And so, of course, even during this bearish trend, we can see the occasional bounce back to the upside here and there in the shorter term during that larger bearish trend, at least as of right now. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, as of right now, we're actually seeing a little bit more of a move to the upside here in the DXY, or the US dollar index, which is actually a bit of a bearish signal to watch out for, because usually when the DXY is moving in the bullish direction, that's often bearish for Bitcoin. And so, at least as of right now, this is still a signal telling us that we're likely going to remain within the larger bearish trend. But remember, during this larger trend, we can still see the occasional short-term bullish move during the larger move. So at least for now, once again, we're still playing out that short-term bullish move, but it's during a larger bearish trend. So as always, it's important to understand the difference between the different timeframes. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, as of right now, the price of Bitcoin has obviously continued that short-term bounce from this critical area of support, which was sitting in between around 51,000 to 53,000 approximately. And obviously, I've been saying over the last few days how the price of Bitcoin basically perfectly bounced from that area. The moment we started a dip below 53,000, that's exactly where we bounced from. And right now, we bounced pretty much exactly back up towards this previous area of support, which is now acting as new resistance. And this is sitting in between around 56 to 57,000 approximately. And so far, the price of Bitcoin is somewhat stalling, somewhat struggling around this area of resistance, at least as of right now. And if we're looking at that latest daily candle close, that confirmed pretty much right on 57,000. On some exchanges, it was closer towards 57.1k, but really, we don't really have a lot of confirmation actually confirming a breakout, at least not yet, from this area of resistance. And so this still means there is a strong possibility that the price could continue to struggle just in the short term, close to 57,000 approximately. But if we can finally see an actual confirmed breakout well above 57,000 and ideally flip that level into new support again, then in that case, we could potentially see another bounce back up towards this next resistance right here, which is starting just above 59,000, closer towards around 59,500. And then we have some major resistance at just above 60,000 to 61,000. But once again, at least as of right now, the resistance to pay attention to just in the short term is still sitting close to 57,000, give or take, at least as of right now. And when it comes to the momentum in the market right now, obviously over the last couple of days, we have seen that short-term bounce from this major area of support, which was expected. If you're watching my last few videos, I've been talking about how we're most likely going to see a bit of a break from the bearish trend due to the fact that we're now bouncing from major support. But as I've also mentioned over the last few days, that alone is not enough of a reason to expect a lot more bullish momentum. So for all we know, this could just be an initial reaction running into major support and then seeing an initial bounce from support. This is not necessarily a massive bullish high momentum movement. And so ultimately, in order to start flipping much more bullish again on the larger momentum at play, we need to see some strong confirmed breakouts above key resistance. For example, at least well above 57,000 and ideally back above 59 to 61,000. If we can start breaking out above these areas, then we can finally start seeing that there's a lot more bullish momentum in the market. But at least for now, for all we know, this could just be an initial reaction from running into major support. Because an example of an initial reaction running into major support would be right here, for example, back in around the end of June, entering into early July. We obviously saw a dump to the downside in the price of Bitcoin, and then we ran into this major area of support, which was sitting in between around 60 to 61,000 approximately, based on previous support, and then we actually saw a decent bounce over the following days, nearly over the following week or so, but ultimately we did not really see a lot of bullish momentum. We didn't really see a lot of follow through with that bounce. We just saw that initial reaction from support and then ultimately continued the bearish trend later on. So we still need to consider that as a possible scenario. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously alongside the price bouncing from major support, we've also been bouncing from oversold territories here in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI. And so obviously, if you've been watching my last few videos here on the channel over the last 2 to 3 days, you'll know that this is also one of the reasons as to why we have been expecting a bit of a short-term relief during the larger bearish trend. Because as we can see just here, that's exactly what we saw the last time we saw an oversold signal confirm in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI. Basically, over the next 1 to 2 days, we did see a bit of a short-term bullish relief, just a bounce back to the upside. But this alone is not necessarily a bullish trend reversal signal. And we also have to keep in mind that right now the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI is now closer towards overbought territories than it is to oversold territories. So it's not in overbought territories yet, but it is getting closer towards overbought territories, and that would essentially be the opposite of oversold territories in case you're new to this channel, which would essentially mean we're running out of room to the upside just in the imminent short term. And so now that the RSI on the smaller time frames is getting closer towards overbought territories, at the same time as the price running into some major resistance close to 57,000 give or take, these are just a few reasons in the short term why it's likely that the price will start stalling a little bit here in the short term. Potentially for the next few days, we could see the price struggle around this area close to 57,000 give or take. And so in the coming days, this will really be a make or break moment for the price of Bitcoin. Essentially, if we start stalling here for the next 1 or 2 days, that's not too bad in either direction. But if we start stalling for any more than a few days and we start really losing a lot of bullish momentum, any bullish momentum that we've had just here, then in that case, that will be a trend continuation signal pointing in the bearish direction for the larger bearish trend. But if we can soon see a breakout at some point in the next few days, if we can break out back above 57,000 and actually hold that area as new support, or just continue more of a bullish relief well above 57,000, if that happens over the next few days, that will be the first sign that we really have that the market is finally starting to flip a lot more bullish again in terms of the momentum, at least in the shorter term here. But once again, so far this is playing out exactly as expected, because as I've been saying over the last few days, we're still technically within the larger bearish trend. We've not actually confirmed a larger bullish trend reversal, at least as of right now, but we have been expecting at least some sort of reaction or relief here in the short term from major support and also from oversold territories. And just before getting into some other important Bitcoin charts today, first, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit, so I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over on Bybit, only for the next 1 month or so, where you could potentially win up to $100,000 just by trading crypto using the link down below this video. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is Bitfinex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitfinex, which means if you're in the US or the UK, for example, or another country where you may not be able to access Bybit from, you can access Bitfinex. So I'll leave a link to Bitfinex down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bitfinex account, you can get up to a 5.5k deposit bonus. And also, only if you use that link, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitfinex exchange by using that link down below this video to make your Bitfinex account. And so as another option out there, once again, there's Bitfinex, links down below if you want to claim those extra bonuses. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and over the last 1 day, we've actually seen the price finally take out a lot more of this liquidity that was sitting to the upside, which I've obviously been talking about over the last few days. And a lot of this liquidity was sitting at around 57 to 57,500, with a major area of liquidity right at around 57.6k to 57.7k, which has now been taken out. And so this was actually a small short squeeze that happened, just a very small short squeeze on a very small scale, but it was a short squeeze to some degree because the price did obviously squeeze to the upside, liquidating a lot of short positions, because anytime where we go to the upside to hit these liquidations, that's taking out short positions. And so this was also potentially helping to fuel that bounce back to the upside here in the short term. But once again, now that we're running into some major resistance, and now that we don't really have a lot more liquidity to the upside that's left, we still have some liquidity at around 58.5k to around 59k approximately, but other than that, we don't really have a lot of liquidity just immediately to the upside. That basically means that we've used a lot of the fuel that we had to the upside here, a lot of that liquidity that was sitting just above the price. So possibly we could go to around 58,500 to 59,000 to take out those positions, but I would not necessarily expect a massive bullish move based on that alone. And as for liquidity to the downside, we don't really have a lot of liquidity immediately to the downside as well, which is why I was saying earlier, it is quite likely that the price will just somewhat stall here in the short term around this resistance as a likely scenario over the coming days. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, right now we're still holding above this major area of support, which is the golden pocket sitting in between around 2150 to 2.2k. So at least for now, that is still this significant area of support to pay attention to. And as I've already been saying over the last few days, it's quite likely over the coming days or weeks that the price will hold above this area of support, at least for the next few days or weeks. And once again, at least for now, we have not reversed out of the larger bearish trend. So technically speaking, we are still within the larger bearish trend, at least as of right now. And in order to expect any bullish trend reversal here in the larger timeframes, we ideally need to see some strong confirmed breakouts above key levels of resistance. First of all, at least breaking out back above 2,500, but ideally back above 2.8k, because 2.8k is a critical level of resistance on this chart right here. And if we're taking a look at the daily time frame, right now the price of ETH is still playing out this bullish divergence I've been talking about over the last few days, and we've just seen yet another green candle close confirmed here in the price on the daily time frame, further confirming the higher low in place in the daily Ethereum RSI, which further confirms the bullish divergence. And so as I've already been saying over the last 3 days or so, I do expect either a slight bullish relief or at least a bit of a sideways consolidation over the coming days or weeks as the most likely scenario in the shorter term for the price of ETH, considering those are the most common outcomes from a bullish divergence. And usually a bullish divergence on the daily time frame plays out over a few weeks before it basically starts losing relevance. But as I've also been saying here on the channel, a bullish divergence by itself is not enough to confirm a larger bullish trend reversal. So it is still possible that we could see a slight relief here in the short term over the next couple of weeks during the larger bearish trend. At least as of right now, that's still a possibility. And if we're taking a look at the 12-hour time frame, we're also still playing out that oversold signal, which I've been talking about over the last few days in the 12-hour Ethereum RSI. So alongside the price playing out this bullish divergence, we're also bouncing from oversold territories right here, which, as I've been saying over the last few days, usually results in at least a bit of a bounce in the short term, which once again, as I've been saying, can happen during a larger bearish trend. And usually the price of ETH tends to follow what Bitcoin is doing. So for example, if Bitcoin starts stalling in the short term, losing that short term bullish momentum that we had so far, starting to run into some key resistance, then it's likely Ethereum will do something similar over the coming days, potentially start to slow down that bounce to the upside in the next few days or so as a likely scenario. But once again, as I've also been saying, I still expect the price to hold above this major area of support, most likely for the next few weeks, but we can still see the price start to slow down that bullish bounce here in the short term. So we could end up seeing basically a bit of a slowdown here in the short term, and then perhaps a little bit more neutral price action. Something like this is likely going to start playing out in the next few days or so as one of the most likely scenarios based on all of these charts right here. And with that being said, taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, and right now Solana is still playing out this active bullish divergence, which I've obviously been talking about recently here on the channel alongside the bullish divergence for Ethereum, which is resulting in a slight bullish relief for the price of Solana. And of course, the price is also bouncing from this major area of support, which is exactly where we bounced from in between 120 to 128. So for now, that is still acting as major support where there's basically a lot of buyers waiting to buy Solana in that price range. And typically a bullish divergence plays out over a couple of weeks or so here in the daily time frame, that is. And so it is likely that over the next few days or weeks, we could end up seeing either a slight bullish relief or just a sideways consolidation, basically choppy sideways price action in the next couple of weeks or so. And if we end up seeing a little bit more bullish price action here in the short term, very soon we could start running into this major area of resistance, which is starting at around 138, going up towards around 143. And so far we have made it very close to 138, which is very close to where the price started to struggle at just in the short term here. And if we can actually start seeing a confirmed breakout back above 143, so daily candle closes above 143 and flipping that area into new support again, then in that case, we can finally start flipping more bullish again on the price of Solana in terms of the momentum in the market, at least in the short term, if we see those bullish confirmation signals. And in that case, the next major resistance to the upside is sitting at around 159 to 163. But obviously for now, we have not seen those confirmed bullish reversal signals confirming more bullish momentum, which means for now, this is potentially just the initial reaction, the initial bounce from major support, and of course the bullish divergence playing out here in the short term, but we still have major resistance above us to pay attention to. And as always, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.